Hey everybody, this is Retro Challenge Gamer, and we are now on the final world of my Super World and Super Mario Maker 2 post-commentary run. And let's just get right to it. Let's get into the first level, where I had an interesting epiphany. As I was going through the levels, I realized, wait, there is still a nighttime theme I hadn't done yet. That is quite different from its daytime theme, but we'll get to that in just a second. So, little bit of trivia. This first area, the jungle section, was actually originally normal ground, the ground theme, with the nice clear skies and clouds and everything. So it wasn't really a jungle, it didn't have water. So all the hard jumps and the first pink coin that would require Yoshi to actually get, it pretty much the water in this area, because I turned it into a jungle, negated all that, unfortunately. And I accidentally got the 10 coin without even realizing it or trying. Yeah, a little bit of trivia. This was not jungle when I first made this level. That was kind of a last minute addition right before I uploaded the whole Super World. I didn't really factor into the water. Anyway, I had an epiphany that I did not yet use the night theme for Underground, the underground theme of Super Mario Maker 2, which of course reverses everything and flips it upside down, which of course makes it harder to manage your character, Mario, because the controls are slightly reversed as a result. Up is down, down is up, and that small change in control really screws with your sense of perception on how to control Mario. So, see, I'm already messing up because I'm trying to manage this new gimmick mechanic and still perform good for you as I'm playing this stage. So a lot of things are going on here. Conveyor belts, skull or lava lifts, icicles, enemies all over, spiked balls that fall from the ceiling. It's just so much stuff happening to you all at once. So this being the one and only upside down level in the entire Super World, I wanted to make it count. I wanted it to be challenging, yet still accessible as the first level of World 8. And after much testing, I feel like I did just that. Lots of secrets in that one, and we'll cover it in the perfect video runs. So that was the one and only normal course, if you will, of World 8. The rest is all specialized, airship type, ghost type, castle, things like that. And wow, I got 5 1-ups for my final Poppin' win. So, huzzah, maybe? So now we go to the first airship one, which actually isn't technically an airship level, although it uses the theme. I got the idea from, again, another level I don't remember the name of, but I changed it so it was tanks instead of airships. So everything is on the ground, and you'll see that when you first start the level, after these deaths, of course. And I actually have kind of a lot of deaths, and they're all towards the end of the level, actually, and not towards the beginning or towards the first area, which is strange. So you can see it's all on a bridge. It spans an entire bridge, and I've emulated tanks using conveyor belts as the wheels. So you're not having to have bottomless pits here, so you're always going to have some sort of solid ground, because you're on tanks rather than airships. It's a cool little effect using the same basic theme of an airship, and this was actually the one and only nighttime airship theme that I used. Everything else is daytime airship. And as a result, for some strange reason, not only is it raining, it's also lower gravity. It's not like space gravity, like in World, 6.4? But it is lower gravity, and things do travel slower, you fall slower. It's a very weird physics change that you don't see in any other theme type. But since I kind of wanted it to be different than most other airship levels, and having it like the normal day sky type of airship theme, it just didn't seem to mesh very well. I decided, how about we do the tanks in like a storm? And unfortunately it just came with... oh, that was a bad jump. But yeah, unfortunately the storm came with light gravity physics. So this is the final appearance of Lakitu, and by the end of the level, if you don't do anything with the Lakitus that show up, you can have as many as 3 Lakitus, all of them throwing bombs at you, which also I think is the last appearance of the bombs, is in this level. So it's one last hurrah, if you will, of Lakitus and bombs. So this level actually came together really quickly. I didn't really have to spend too much in a single day to build this level. It came together quickly, I clear-checked it quickly, and in fact, these super long fire bars, they actually were not this long to begin with. In fact, they were probably half the size they are now. But then, realizing how easy it was to get through that area, I doubled their length, and that got me the right amount of difficulty for this late in the game, World 8-2. Now for the final Boom Boom battle, I was just like, what better way than to have 2 different types of Boom Booms amongst a deck full of cannons. It made sense to me. Now since the ground-based Boom Boom was the harder one of the 2, I put the key inside of the flying Boom Boom. Did I say ground-based? No, the ground-based was easier of the 2, so the flying Boom Boom had the actual key, because that's the one you really want to kill. And that's pretty much it. It's not a hard level all said and done, unless you're going for 100%. Then it gets really crazy, let me tell you. So now we move on to the final ghost house of the level. And this one, I believe, was... I wanted to do something a little different with this one. It had less to do with ghosts than an actual concept I wanted to try out. So first, let's see if I actually succeed in getting 5 1-ups just like the Pop and Win. Can I get 5 1-ups? Ooh, nope, disregard. I cannot. So the overall layout of the World 8 actually changed quite a bit. This final layout you see with the 2 bridges and the pipe and everything, this was probably the 5th iteration of this world and its design. So once I finalized what each of the levels were going to be, so 2 airships, ghost, castle, and whatever, then I started rebuilding the world into how I felt was a good flow all the way to the final castle in the middle. So it actually went through quite a lot of iterations until you see its final form. Now, I think that's my one and only death. Yeah, this level is actually kind of a breather, but it's a long level if you don't know how to speedrun it. I'm not going to tell you how to speedrun it, you got to figure that one out yourself. So, the first part of the level actually starts off like a traditional ghost house, with maybe some very hard platforming segment that I fail miserably at. So nothing too special here, a couple POW blocks that you can see for light sources. Now, the Shadowy Depths name of the level actually comes into play here. The actual underwater section. This is where I wanted to explore my concept, my idea for this level, which was a dark-based underwater level, where it was more like a maze. And in fact, I think I ran up on a limit, the arbitrary limit for slopes and stuff, and so I actually had to tone this down a bit with the maze and knock off 2 screens, because this was actually, the overall height of this maze was actually 1 more screen length bigger, but I had to shrink it down because I ran into a limit, and I needed to cut it, or Super Mario Maker was not going to let me finish my level design. So I still don't like those arbitrary limits, but you gotta work within them. But in the end, it didn't seem to matter. I mean, the maze is confusing enough on its own. You have to circle back around in on itself several times, especially on the way back out. But if you follow the arrows, and you follow the logic of the red and blue blocks, and the switches that you come across the way, you should be able to get to the piece, the POW block in the lower left of this area, and then back up without too much difficulty, without getting lost. Keyword should. As you will see here, when we get to the pipe with the power block, you'll see a little thing that says, "Where do I go?" Apparently someone had no idea what to do. So you go down here, grab the POW block, hit that on. Well, we want it on, not off. And this is where the circle back looping comes into play. So the route back is actually blocked by red blocks, and you want to turn them off. So you have to circle back the opposite direction, turn it off, and then work your way back up the normal way without dying or getting hit. So compared to the last couple levels and compared to the 2 levels that are coming up after this, if you're slow, patient, and careful, this level for the most part is fairly easy. Up until the boss, in which case I wanted to do something completely different. I actually had to go online and look up the solution to how do you kill a boo. I had no idea other than a Starman, how do you kill a boo in Super Mario Maker 2? And one of the solutions was a spike helmet. But I didn't want to just give a spike helmet to you without any sort of challenge. So up above in the darkness, if you see there, is a spike helmet and a bunch of conveyor belts. And you have to slowly wait as it goes down the conveyor belts and protect yourself from the boos that are coming at you until you get the spike helmet, or completely mess up like I did, so we're going to do a slice cut. And now that you wear it, you now have to get to the far right of the screen safely, and then goad the big boo down to your position, kill him to get the key, and you're done. So that is the boss fight, the mid-boss fight of World 8. Because you've already beat Boom Boom in the last level, so... And in fact, as I said in the previous video, World 8 breaks a lot of conventions that I had already established in the previous 7 worlds. So yes, 8-3 is the mini-boss level, but it's not the only one. 8-2 and 8-4 are also mini-boss levels. So we got Boom Boom, we got King Boo, and now we have Bowser Jr. So like, other than the first level, every single level ends in a boss in World 8. So I really wanted to ramp up the tension and kind of give the player the idea that, yeah, this is it. This is the final stretch of the game. And that's a lot of X's. A lot of people died there. And this is a fairly difficult level, actually, all things considered. And ending it in a Bowser Jr. battle in a Koopa car, it's pretty rough. But if you compare this level to the previous Airship level of 7-5 with Ludwig, this is nowhere near as difficult as that level is. That is the hardest level in my mind of the Airship levels. And I almost had that as a perfect. I was gonna show you how to get through that area without getting hurt. And you get Squirrel Mario free of charge. But we're not going to use the actual purpose of why I included Squirrel Mario in this level. We're going to go take the top route, which is what most people are intended to do if you're not going for all the secrets. Or you can't make, if you can't get access to the bottom route because you can't use Squirrel Mario for some reason. Because it does require a little bit of finesse to get down to the bottom route. So I'm actually doing really good up until that point, and then I had to say something. But yeah, that last section of 3 grinders and everything, I actually had to swap up the obstacles in between each several times before I finally came across a combination that didn't overwhelm me as a player. This is actually also one of the shorter levels as well in terms of Airship 2. Most of the other Airship levels are pretty long. And now the Squirrel Mario is actually required. You need Squirrel Mario to get anywhere past this point. And that is where you need to use the glide section. Whew. The coins will direct you on where to go, so you don't land into the spikes and lose your Squirrel Mario and have to go all the way back down to grab another one and waste more time. So Fire Mario and Squirrel Mario are both equally good at this battle. Squirrel Mario actually is a little bit better than Fire Mario, but either one will work. And like in good Koopa Kid fashion, you have to face Bowser Jr. one last time, but as a huge giant. Because, I mean, why not? All the other Koopa Kids got that treatment. Why shouldn't Bowser Jr.? And we have one more level left to go, everybody. One more. And one last Toad House, which, if you've been keeping track, is going to be the mix and match. So let's see if I can actually get a star this time and get those 5 1-ups. Not that I need them. Maybe. We'll see. Looks good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So at least we're coming in with over 70 lives. That should be enough. Maybe? Now this level 8, I actually wanted it to be super long, have like 5-6 different areas, and literally combine all sorts of gimmicks and gizmos and obstacles and challenges from literally the rest of the game. I really wanted it to test you in everything that you have learned thus far in playing the other 39 levels. Now, as you can see, the majority of these deaths came from the fight with Bowser. That lava is atrocious. It is the cause of most of my deaths in this level. That's a lot of deaths. At least over 10. So, since I didn't give the Bonsai Bill enough love in previous levels, this was his last huzzah right at the start of the level. Where you really can't avoid him because you're small Mario and you're gonna die if you try and get over him. So you just have to wait it out and let them pass. And this is actually the one and only instance where I introduced the fast skull lifts. I don't think I introduced the fast skull lifts before this point. And of course the lava is traveling at a very fast pace. If you don't move fast enough, it will catch up with you and you will die. Which is why I needed to use the fast lava lifts for pretty much, otherwise you're not going to outrun the lava with all the obstacles around. So this level has 2 checkpoints, and after that first section I felt this was a logical place to put the first checkpoint. Now this long section from here to the next pipe took me a lot of time to build, test, create, and figure out how difficult it was gonna be. Like this section here alone, oh man, trying to design this section to be tricky with the thwomps and everything, and the lava, and still make it doable. The timing is tight. It really, really is tight. And of course, Squirrel Mario, which is gonna help immensely in the next section. Now, in classic fashion, I have yet to do an elevator segment, and I'm like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So here's your classic elevator section, with arrows showing you when enemies are going to drop down from above. So those arrows are not just for show. You need to pay attention to them if you want to survive getting hit, not getting hit. And there was actually a lot more bullet bills on either side, left and right, as you were going up the side, and honestly, it ended up being too crazy, so I actually removed half of them, and it became a lot more manageable. Now, Squirrel Mario is not going to be helpful in the coming battle. Sorry, there was a fly there. You're going to need Fire Mario, and to that end, you need to hit him with 20 fireballs, or I think like 6 or 7 bomb-offs. And you have 4 chances at fire flowers throughout this battle. If you run out of them, which is entirely possible very, very easily, then the only option you have is the bomb-offs he throws out of his Koopa cart. And one constant danger is the lava down beneath, which can get you instant death-wise very easily. And a little bit of trivia, I originally wanted him in the Fire Koopa cart, which also throws fireballs at you occasionally, and that ended up being way too hard. I couldn't beat him in the Fire Koopa cart, so in the end, I just ditched that idea and just put him in the normal Koopa cart, which is more than enough challenge, all things said and done. And if you're not careful and you don't kick out those fire flowers on the bottom two question blocks, if the Bob-ombs come near them and blow up near them, those blocks will disappear, robbing you of your fire flowers. And surprise! Bowser Jr. is back for revenge. Here to avenge his daddy. Not really. He makes a very feeble attempt. And that's it. That is the entire Super World. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you continue to stay and watch the remainder of the Super Power runs, or Perfect runs, of this series. And I hope, if you haven't tried this Super World out for yourself, that you give it a go. My creator tag is in the description of all these videos. You are more than welcome to try them, and the other 26 levels I made individually. And there is my profile. Whew. I'm not too popular, but hey, it looks like I'm acting like I am, right? So thank you everybody for joining me on this journey and having to get a new capture card to do it. And we'll see you in the Perfect Run videos. So until then, see y'all later and stay retro.